Hey everyone, thank you for coming back and joining me for another episode of Brand New Gig. This is episode 2. If you were here with me last week, thank you so much for deciding to come back again. And if you are new, we are so glad to have you. As you can see, I have a very special guest joining me today. Let's see if I can pull up the chat so we can see what's going on there. Okay, yes, I have a very special guest joining me today. He is A&M's leader in both single season and career receptions alongside career receiving yards. He is a 2025 Letterman's Association Hall of Fame inductee, and he is the cover we deserve for NCAA 14. Please join me in welcoming Ryan Swope. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks, Avery, for having me. Really appreciate it and look forward to talking some Aggie football with you.
I love to hear it. I know it's probably very busy for you over there. You got 4 boys running around. I know you just brought home your 4th back in May, so congratulations there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's like a bunch of caffeinated raccoons running around this house, but it's a lot of fun and we yeah, we actually were throwing the ball tonight and the twins they just started flag football, so we're ramping up full force and just ready for the Aggies to kick off on Saturday. So
I
we
know, I
can't
just
wait.
had to ask. I was wondering if this was a big weekend in the Swope household for you guys.
Oh yeah, we're always, obviously here living in College Station, the summer's pretty quiet and the boys they keep asking about, tailgating and going down
Yep.
there to the football games. And so we're certainly excited to kick this season off and the boys are ready to go cheer on their Aggie football team.
Yeah, I think we're all just as antsy. I think it's been way too long of an off season, and we've got 3 days to go. It can't come soon enough. Before we get into everything, I do this segment called Off the Ledge, and we become unlicensed therapists for 10 minutes. I ask people on Twitter what their biggest concerns are going into. So for this week is week 1. I have to give a disclaimer that we are not licensed therapists, so we cannot be held legally responsible, any diagnoses that are wrong, and any coping mechanisms that might be deemed ineffective. So I'm not going to get too much into everything because we've got a lot to cover, but we're going to cover 2 things that people seem to bring up over and over. Number 1 is we seem to have an issue in the past couple of years of really like laying down the hammer when it comes to our non-conference games. We've seen it. Bowling Green was not great. We've seen a lot of different non-conference games be a little too close for comfort. So what kind of advice would you offer for people that think?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's there's non-conference games. I think some people call them sometimes cupcake games or whatever you want to call them. But honestly, as a football team, you're trying to just stay focused, take one game at a time. In my playing day, I always use those, especially when I was younger, just to improve and kind of um, you know see what kind of offense we had to work with, see what kind of chemistry we could build. There's a lot of younger kids that are, that hadn't stepped on the field before, that are freshmen that are running around out there just trying to figure out which way's right, which way's left. And so, I think it's these games are crucially important to just, um, you know, see how high the ceiling could be and ultimately execute and just play fast. And I think it's just a good way to get comfortable. And I think this opener against UTSA, I think that's a really well coached football team. And so we
Mhm.
need to come out swinging. And I've got, full confidence in Coach Elko and what he's doing with this football team. And I think that, we've got a really good shot at, obviously walking away with the win, but even having a better season.
Yeah, I know Jeff Traylor was a name that was floated around a couple of years ago after the whole Mark Stoops debacle. So I know there are a lot of Aggies that aren't underestimating his ability to coach a football team. With that being said, I think the second concern for a lot of people is our defense, especially in terms of losing a lot of production on the defensive line and just what we can do, because last year UTSA had a top 15 offense and our pass defense was not great. So
Yeah.
what can you kind of stick in there?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I was a little disappointed last year, and I think Coach Echo would probably say the same thing. I think towards the end of the year, we just kind of ran out of steam. And I think the biggest thing is just tackling, going back to the fundamentals, wrapping up and swarming the football and creating turnovers. Look, I think that we've got a great chance defensively. Coach Elko, he's a defensive mind. He knows what he's doing. He's got this team right and ready to be physical. As far as just some of the guys, I mean, obviously a linebacker from Scooby Williams to York. I mean, we've got depth there and experience, which is crucial. And those guys are kind of the guts of that defense. So, and then we've got some interior guys that are. It's a younger defensive line.
For sure.
DJ Hicks, obviously, he's a young playmaker with a lot of upside.
Mhm.
Albert Riggs is a steady veteran, which always helps having those vets over there, just kind of seeing things out. And then obviously our secondary, I feel like is we've got four solid guys back there, with plenty of speed and then we've got to just stay healthy. That's the most important thing on defense. And I think if anything, that's where my biggest concern is just obviously in this league that we play in, just having depth. And so,
Yep.
back in 2012, when I was playing the first year in the SEC, we were so fortunate to, keep everybody for the most part pretty healthy. And so, if we can do that, I think, our defensively, I think we're in a good position. And, I'm anxious to see, how Elko responds from kind of I'm not going to say it was a letdown of back into the season, but I
Right.
think that there's a lot of upside improvement with this team that he's working with. And I think that he's really excited about it. And so are we. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to see these guys go out there and lay the wood and have fun and fly around and create some
Yeah.
turnovers.
Let us hope so, because there's probably two sides of every coin. There's your Kool-Aid drinkers, and there's your chronic BAS. So that's how the season's always going to start. There's only so much
Yeah,
that you can
no
talk
doubt.
about before you actually watch a game on the field. But I think with that, kind of jumping into what this season looks like, I would say that, especially with Elko at the helm, it does look a bit different. I know going into your senior year, y'all was first year in the SEC. Y'all were, I would say, counted out, expected to finish probably bottom tier SEC. Ended up finishing the year fifth in the nation. Obviously, we can get more into that season because it's whirlwind. But do you see any similarities between this upcoming team and y'all's squad?
It's funny you say that. I kind of do, in a way. I think last year, so my junior year, it was kind of a letdown of a year. Tannehill was the quarterback, and we just couldn't finish games. We had an incredible football team, great defense. Von Miller, just there was playmakers all over the field.
Oh, yeah.
Offensively, we were able to put points on the board. We just couldn't finish in the second half. And so I kind of got that feeling last year, like we back into the season, really good football team, everybody's meshing, but we just couldn't finish football games. We couldn't tackle, we couldn't wrap up, we couldn't create turnovers. We
Mhm.
didn't take care of the football. And so it kind of has a similar feel to that when I was
Yeah.
playing my junior year. And then, obviously with Marcel Reed coming in, just a dual threat. He's going to be more confident. He's a second year starter.
Which is
Obviously
good
not
to
going to
know.
compare him to Johnny, but it's kind of Johnny was that dual threat quarterback that could really extend the plays. And I feel like Marcel, he's definitely got the ability to extend a play and extend a drive and, which is so crucial and so important and critical for an offense. So, I think the fact that he's got that half of a season last year under his belt, it's really gonna help him. And I think that everything I've been hearing and seeing in practice, he's really grooving. So, there's definitely some similarity there as far as, our first year in the SEC, kind of flying out. I feel like we're kind of flying under the radar a little bit,
Mhm.
which is good. I prefer that, and I think that
Yeah, I
these
think
this
that's where we
team
thrive.
yeah, and I think this team is, obviously they're so well coached and they're very disciplined and they've been put in a lot of work this off season. So I think that we kind of control our own destiny and we got to just come out and go back to the basics and the fundamentals and wrap up and have fun and just stretch the field. We got to have these receivers make some big plays, and so I feel like there's could be some similarity that we can, I just think that we could go and win 10 games, or it could go the other direction. We could win 6 or 7. So it's up to these guys, and I think that they kind of we control our own destiny, and I think we've got the right tools in place to make a good run at this thing.
Yeah, I am hoping that you're correct. Obviously, in the middle of that falls 8-4, which is our
Sure.
seemingly bread and butter. But as you talked about, we're not going to compare Marcel to Johnny. But what do you want to see from him? Game one, he's got Klein fully prepared for him to lead the offense. Again, like you said, he's got a full offseason, half a year under his belt. So, what are you hoping to see game one come UTSA?
I mean, I think that out of Marcel, I think just obviously his decision making, which I'm giving him some grace from last year's kind of thrown in middle of the season, and played some really high quality football at times. But then we also saw kind of, you know, that freshman, uncomfortable, not
Yeah.
making the best decisions. And in this league, if you don't bring your A plus, A minus game every week, you're going to get beat. And so I think that he just needs to take care of the football. And I think that if he does that, I think Coach Klein's going to put him in a position to succeed and be successful. So I'm anxious. I've always been big on Marcel Reed. And I
Hmm.
said that last year, going back, when I was on Tex Eggs and doing stuff, and I
Yeah.
was with Steve McGee, and I think um, he's got that wiggle, and he's able to extend plays, and I feel like the team really they really kind of feed off of him, and you could see that last year in the LSU game that it was a completely different team when he got back there, and so I think that the guys enjoy playing for him, which is huge. It's a huge deal, especially in the SEC. You got to have a guy back there that you love and
Yep.
you're confident in. And so I think his biggest question mark is his ability to take care of the football. And I've got full confidence. Obviously with an experienced offensive line coming back, that we're going to be better at that. And then obviously Coach Klein's going to kind of reshape and regroove his playbook to kind of mold what Marcel's all about.
Yeah, and noted, it's really crucial to have a quarterback, one, that your team trusts. I think two, it has to be a connection that just goes deeper than the playbook.
You're
Obviously, you played with Johnny Manziel, and I think it was very evident that there were a lot of times when the things y'all were doing were not because Cliff Kingsbury told y'all to do them. It was more of
no,
just, it was just like that is how a connection works. And I think this year, pretty much a brand new wide receiver room. I mean, Marcel hasn't thrown to any of these guys on the field aside from ABR and Terry Bussey on occasion. What what does that connection look like? How does he foster it? How did you foster that connection? Because you were a senior, he was a freshman. There's obviously a little bit of discrepancy there. Kind of walk me through that.
yeah, I mean, I think, man, this transfer portal stuff is so different from when I played because you were able to at least when I was playing with Tannehill, you were able to build a chemistry with your quarterback over a couple of years and really figure out, what works, what doesn't work. Are we on the same page? You know what I'm doing, but ultimately that really doesn't exist now with the transfer portal, and you kind of get thrown in there and you got to figure it out a lot quicker. Which I
Mhm.
think it's just crucial that these guys in the summertime are out there doing extra time, just trying to figure out um, you know, that chemistry because you just don't have a whole lot of time to
Yeah.
figure that out. And so um, I wasn't real sure about the receiver room until I went to practice last week. And
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, those guys looked good. And so I'm optimistic about it. I'm excited because I think that these guys bring a speed on our football field that we've really lacked in the past
Mhm.
couple years. And I think speed kills, especially in this league that
Yeah.
we play in. So if we have the ability to stretch the field vertically, and then obviously we've got, four of the best running backs and, or as far as depth goes, our
Oh,
backfield is
100%.
just incredibly strong. So if we can win at the line of scrimmage, um, you're gonna win football games. So if we can stretch the field vertically and really, get guys in the box, and that speed can take over, Casey Concepcion. And that's one guy I watched him practice and was really, really impressed with. Just got great hands. Now we don't have a whole lot of size out there.
Yeah, that is the
If
big thing.
anything, that's one thing that, um, is maybe a more of a con, but I'll take speed all day over size. So I think if we can catch the football and stretch the field and create some mismatches out there, I think that we've got a really good shot at you know um, at least punching the ball in the end zone more than we did last year.
Yeah, which is very notable because, for one, you've got the accusations being thrown around that Marcel Reed is not a passer, which, I mean, does he, like you said, he's a dual threat quarterback. He doesn't need to be a pocket passer. So that's a question mark in itself. And also, the wide receiver room as a whole last year just wasn't a threat. Coupled with Marcel being a freshman, there's just a lot of question marks, and it's very easy. I think every team is going to look at their fall camp and say things are looking more exciting. But is this like a Kool-Aid optimistic, yeah, it looks better, or is it like you have genuine belief in our wide receiver room and
I
Marcel being
have
a guy?
honestly, if I didn't go to practice last week I went with one of my former teammates, Travis Labhart, who played receiver here with me, and we went out there and we walked away like, oh my gosh, this is refreshing. Like these guys are making plays. They're speed. They're fast. They're making good, running good routes, crisp routes. Their attention to detail. They're finishing after they catch the ball, and they're going and scoring every time. Just the little things as a receiver that I look for, that goes a long ways. And I'm seeing all these guys from 7 to 1 to 3 to Bussy number 2. Obviously, they've got 4 guys that I feel like are gonna be pretty dependable, and then you throw in a pretty good, tight end into the mix, that transfer from Texas, 84. So, I mean, I didn't know what to expect going into practice, and I walked out there and, I walked away and I was it gave me some optimism for sure. I'm excited because I think that we've got some kids that can stretch the field, and but it's practice. So
Right.
I think that obviously you got to take that with a grain of salt. But I think that we've got a shot. We've got some real players that can catch the ball well, and they can finish. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. And I think Coach Klein and all his guys, I think that I loved watching their offense. They kind of had a
Uh-huh.
little bit different offense that is more molded to Marcel and his style of play with that dual threat quarterback. And
Yep.
I think after going that practice, I've got higher expectations than what I had, beforehand, which is good.
Yes, always reassuring to
So
see a product on the field. I think going into week 1, obviously very different than last year. Last year, we started the season with Notre Dame, which doesn't leave you a lot of wiggle room to make
sure.
mistakes. This year, we have UTSA. So how much do you think this game is going to tell us about this team as a whole, as opposed
Uh,
to just kind of working out the kinks?
UTSA.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it'll tell us. I think it'll tell us a lot. I mean, I definitely think and hope, and I think it's a game that we can single hand, win by 20, 30 points and shouldn't be a problem. And everybody's, get some young guys in there,
Definitely.
to get some experience, or get some young guys and get them some playing time. And so, I mean, I think that I'm hoping we come out offensively and, we've got plenty of stability at running back and quarterback with some
Mhm.
experience there and offensive line. So I'd love for our offense to come out that first drive and punch the ball in the end zone.
I
And
was
so
thinking the exact same thing.
I'm hoping we're off to the races after that. And so, but I'm anxious to see, and I can't wait for Saturday.
I think everyone is in the same boat. It's been a very long off season, and there's only so much you can talk about. Obviously, big question, what is our floor, what is our ceiling? What do you if what is the what do you think the record is going to be? Just straight up,
Thanks.
you had to predict
Yeah,
right
I'd
now.
love it. I think that I think that we've are capable of winning 10 games. That's kind of expectations. Like we hadn't done that since what 2012.
Hmm.
But I think like realistically, I'm going 8-4. I do think that we've got a pretty tough schedule. We've got to go to we got to go over to Austin. We got to play LSU, play Missouri on the road. So we've got some tough road games. We've got a tough schedule. But, I wouldn't be surprised if we fall right there at around 8-4.
Let's see. 9-3. I'm trying to be a little optimistic, I
Where are
think.
you at? I'm sorry, you broke out. What do
Nine
you
and
feel?
three. We're
9
at
and
nine and
3?
three.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I gave
How do you feel how do you feel about just our overall, I mean, were you able to go down to practice or you've been kind of following it online?
I watch the clips that they show. I watch press conferences. I mean, I don't have the insider scoop. I just get whatever the general public gets.
Oh yeah.
I gave my hot take last week, which is that we beat LSU in Death Valley,
I
which
like it.
would be crazy because we haven't done that in like 30 years.
I
So
like it. I
it's
think
a
it's
little bit of Kool-Aid drinking, but
yeah. Hey, you never know. You gotta believe to achieve.
no, and it's really hope at this point, which kills us every year. But one of these years, I'm assuming it will pan out. Why not this year? We
I'm
will
looking at
see.
I'm reading some of these comments over here. What are they talking about? Dark. Why are you in the dark, Avery? Are you Batman? What is that?
I'm still setting up my last week. It was a blank wall. I had no decorations. This week, I have a bookcase, so we're slowly building.
I
We're slowly building a studio in here, but it is
love it. I love it.
it's a
So
learning curve.
is this all Twitter feeds? I love this.
This is Twitter and YouTube. It's a mix of both.
Oh,
So
that's so cool.
yeah, you will see both coming in from
I
there.
love it.
But I think we're both cautiously optimistic about
Yeah.
this upcoming year, which
Why
is
not?
not a
Why
bad
not?
place to be. Why not? There's no reason not to. I mean, we were 7-1 at one point. We were still playing for an SEC championship, final game of the year, even with the struggles that November brought
For
us.
sure. Hey, I'll tell you one thing that I'm extremely excited about, and I've always been excited about since he's been here is Mike Elko. I think Coach Elko is an incredible coach, and I could tell that these guys at practice are playing for him, which is extremely important. So
Mhm.
I, I think we've got that. That's an advantage in our corner, having that guy, go to war every week with him. I think these
Yes.
kids are going to really want to play for him, and I certainly would love to play for his kind of coaching style because he's all about physicality and he loves to win. He's a competitor. So, I just, I think that he's a great ball coach and he really knows football and the X's and O's. And, I've got full trust and faith in Coach
Oh yeah.
Elko.
Yeah, we know this year he's obviously defensive minded guy. He's going to take over a little bit more on the defense side of the ball, which we haven't really talked about because obviously you're a defensive guy, and that's kind of where all the fun is. Marcel Reed, that's our big question mark. We have a very fun running back room, such and such. Defensive side of the ball, Elko taking over. How does that look for you? Do you see that being more of an identity? I know, obviously, like 80s, 90s, Wrecking Crew was huge, and we haven't really seen that. I mean, we had
Mm.
glimpses of it with Vaughn and Miles, but outside of that, I think we're a lot flashier on the offensive side. So, what do you kind of see that identity looking like this year?
And I think year 2 is going to be transformation. And I think that, growth and second year under Elko is going to be, I think we're going to grow and we're going to be, he's, like I said, he's a great football coach. I think we're going to be thoroughly impressed about just competing and, giving, playing with heart, compassion, and togetherness. And I think he's just going to have these guys ready. So I think that, obviously, there'll be some adversity along the way. We need to,
Hmm.
sometimes you need a little luck. You just stay healthy, but I think, um, you know, I just think that we've got a shot to. We got to learn as a team. We've got to win these big games. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
to go in order to get this sucker going in the right direction, we've got to go into Austin. We got to go in there and compete. And we got to, steal one from LSU.
Mhm.
That's what we have to do, and that's what we signed up for. And I think that Coach Elko believes in this football team, and I think everybody believes. And so we've got to just learn how to. You got to steal some of those games, and then obviously finish games on Kyle Field. So
Yeah, that's a big one.
that's the whether if we really want a CFP berth possible, we've got to win. We got to beat LSU. We got to beat Texas,
Mhm.
and then we got to take care of all of our games on Kyle Field. So I think the Texas game is going to be a season definer. I think it's going to boil down to that again, and so we gotta capitalize, and I think that I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, you got some competition in the comments
Is
going your
Yeah.
way.
Oh, do we? Swope, I want
Yeah.
1-on-1 on that goal behind you. Bring it on, dude. Bring it on.
Not scared of competition. No, this is legit stuff happening. So I'm
Yeah.
sure you can throw it their way. But
Yeah, no, for sure. But the SEC, it's a grinder. I mean, you have got to bring your A game every single week. I mean, if you bring your B minus, B plus, you're going to get beat, and that's bottom line. So you've got to bring your lunch pail every week,
yeah,
and
no.
if you don't, then it's going to be a tough season. So and we found that out, in 2012, and there was a
Mhm.
couple games there early where we just didn't, execute as much against Florida and LSU. A couple field goals away, and we're competing in that 4-game playoff. And if it was around, and I feel like we were the hottest team in college football towards the end of the season. So,
Oh yeah.
but you gotta win those big games, and I think we're fully capable of doing that.
You set me up perfectly because you're probably a rare breed who got to play in two different conferences. I mean, obviously not in this new era where you can the transfer portal and such, but you play in the Big 12, you jumped into the SEC. Would you attest to the fact that the SEC is a different breed?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there there are some units in the SEC as far as your defensive line units and your linebacker. They are units. Then they're all running about 4.4s, 4.5s. So, um, yeah, I mean it's it's a different league. It's why you go turn on the NFL draft, and I think 50-60% of those guys that are getting drafted are coming out of this
Easily.
Southeastern Conference.
Mhm. I had a comment on Twitter because I asked people if they had any specific questions they wanted to ask you, and someone said, "Just say Baylor 2011 and let him cook." Do you have a
Do what? I'm
response?
sorry. What was that?
Baylor 2011.
Yes. What about it?
What about it? That's all that was said. They said, "Let him cook."
Oh man, that I have to give a lot of credit to Ryan Tannehill. I was in the right place at the right time, and he made my job a lot easier. So yeah, it was a fun game. It was a fun game. Robert Griffin and doing all scoring 4 times on Kyle Field was extra special to me. So that was a fun day.
Oh yeah, and you guys played with Ryan. He was in your receiver room and he was your quarterback.
He was a good friend of mine. Incredible athlete, just a great person, and incredible. Yeah, he could really throw a football, and we were, he played receiver, kind of like you were saying, and he kind of taught me how to play receiver because I never played receiver. I was a running back in high school, and so my freshman year, Gerard Johnson was the quarterback, and Tannehill was playing receiver, and and so he was our backup quarterback at that time, and so he would teach me kind of on this. I was running with the twos on the other field with Tannehill, and he would kind of teach me, how to read defenses, and make certain cuts, and how to get open and read coverages and whatnot. And so he was really helpful just because had already kind of had some of that receiver experience that year. Was really good receiver too. And so, but then obviously when we had already kind of a 1 year leap on everybody of building that chemistry and relationship with him. and just getting a ton of reps on the second field. We really we when we were able to go out there, we started grooving, and it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So, but yeah, no. Let's see here. Are there any fun fact? I had Ryan Swope jersey when I was 10. No way. That's awesome.
Reading, let me see. This one's a good one. You can read through this one.
One of my best friend's moms had a song for Ryan. When he scored, she would like to scream, "Swope, swope, swope," and dance. He seemed like a chill guy, but it made me want to kill myself. Oh man, that's too good. That is too good.
We're having a
Yeah.
lot of fun out there. I had fun
Yeah,
watching
we
it
we
personally.
did. I had a ton of fun playing football, and I still miss playing football every day. And it's just it's a something about it is just the camaraderie and just the bond that you build with your teammates, and then just winning. I love to win, and I'm very competitive, and I miss that just that spirit to go out there and kick somebody's ass. I'll be honest with you. I just it's something about it. I was always looking for that next guy to earhole somebody. I didn't ever run out of bounds. I wasn't. I kind of grew up. My dad taught me. Kudos to my dad. He was just one of my all time role models. The guy I've always looked up to and will
Hmm.
still look up to, and always just a mentor of mine. And he just taught me we don't run out of bounds in the Swope household. So
No, it's
that was
just
kind of
Le'Veon Moss just said the same
yeah,
thing.
so you got to deliver the punishment, and that was my motto: is try to go out there and earhole guys and lay the wood. So I had fun doing it, and
Oh yeah.
it backfired on me a little bit, but I wouldn't change a thing.
Right. No, because people were talking about in the Bama game, you kind of got laid out a little bit in the fourth quarter, and then a few plays later, just catch an absolute dot from Johnny Football, like nothing happened. Is it just like body made of steel? Just keep pushing. Just like pain does not exist. What?
Yeah, I mean, that was painful. It was painful, but here's my message. I mean, and I told Coach Kingsbury this after the game is if Alabama, if I so, and I wanted to, I didn't. I could have laid there, but that would send a message, and just it would take away all the momentum in that football game if I laid
Mhm.
there, and it would send just kind of a right message to our sideline, and I knew if I didn't get up, then it could change the outcome of the football game, and that stuff is real. Like momentum is real, and so I knew as much as I wanted to sit there and lay down and figure out, get my feet underneath me and check to see if I'm still on planet Earth. I knew I had to get up and send a message to that Alabama sideline, and that
Yep.
was, that's what I did. I kind of shook my head, and I was definitely seeing triple, but I had to get up and just kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve, and and we went down and scored right after that, and so that I think momentum's huge, and that's just the mentality I played with.
Yeah, and I think especially that game, which I'm sure everyone asks you about all the time. This is not a secret game that nobody knows about. Obviously, everyone knows. Going into that, you hear from Johnny. I retweet the same tweet every year that he tweeted before that game. And there's obviously a mindset that you can go in and win, but I think there is obviously also a part of you that maybe there's not, I don't know, but I think there's a little part of you that doubts. Would you say it was just like clear, the mindset was straight the whole time, or was
There
there a
was
moment where it flipped the switch and it was we can act like we could walk out of Tuscaloosa winning this football game?
No, there was no doubt. We knew we were gonna win.
Okay.
Yeah. I
That's
mean, and
it.
that's
Win.
honestly
Period.
I mean, I'll never forget Coach Kingsbury, and, it's crazy, but and this is just he's Kingsbury's a great friend of mine. I can still keep up with him, and he's one of the one of the best coaches I've played for,
Yeah.
and, I just loved playing for Coach Kingsbury. But he before that game, he came out and said this. He always gave us a speech, our offense, and I mean, it makes you want to run through a brick wall. But he said, "Hey guys, don't be surprised when you look up and the score is 21-0." And sure enough, we missed an extra point. And it was 20-0. But it just goes to show you the belief that that not only our coaches instilled in us, but we believed that exactly what he was saying and preaching that we could do that. And so we went out and executed. And obviously Nick Saban went in at halftime and he's the greatest coach to ever do it and came back out and
He adjusts.
yeah, made some adjustments and gave us a fight for our money, but we figured out a way to win, and our defense had a couple big stops, Steve Terrell, Sean Porter, Spencer Neely, guys
Mhm.
like that. We had senior leadership, and that's
Oh,
huge
yeah.
when you have experience and guys running around the field, having fun and creating turnovers and believing and trusting in one another. There's no doubt. We knew we were gonna win that game.
Yeah, and I think that is a very big sentiment that obviously people wanna see applied this year. We have a lot of returning guys, at least on the offensive side. Did anyone stick out in terms of, like, who that leader is going to be on the field? I mean, we have our captains, obviously, but it's different when you're watching them all play together, seeing where that energy and momentum is coming from.
Are you talking about this year?
Yeah, just going to practice, watching the guys all
Yeah,
play.
I don't know. I don't know. I've only been to one practice, so it's hard for me to give you much judgment based on that. I think we'll find out a lot here, on Saturday, who those guys
Yeah.
are, who's stepping up, who's vocal, who's making plays, who's consistent, who's bringing the energy, who's bringing the fire on defense.
Mhm.
And making sure 11 hats are all swarming to the football. So I think we'll get a pretty good feel for that on Saturday. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to. But I mean, one guy obviously I love watch running the football is Le'Veon Moss. I love how
Oh, of
I
course.
like hearing him talk in his pressers. He runs mad, he runs angry, and he loves playing football, and he knows how to score touchdowns. And so and he's hard to tackle. So I really enjoy watching him run the football. I think he was a piece to our puzzle last year when we lost
Mhm.
him that you could really see that really
You could do it. Yeah.
you could just feel it. And so having him back on the field is going to be very impactful. And he's just he's an animal, he's a beast, and he knows how to tote the rock, and I love how he runs it. And so and obviously he's got depth behind him. Reuben Owens, Mari
Yep.
Daniels. There's a good freshman in there. I think his number's 23. He can catch the football.
Yeah.
Who what is it?
Marion Monroe, I think,
Yeah.
might be
So,
gone.
but we got so much depth at running back, offensive lines all coming back. So, I mean, that's a unit up there. We've got depth at receiver now. I like Marcel. I love his
Yeah.
play. I think he's going to be more confident. So, I think that offensively, I feel really good about just leadership, just having a lot of experience back out there, returners, and it goes a long ways. And especially in today's league, I mean, I feel like it's hard to get a whole roster back, especially with the transfer portal. And we've got a lot of guys that have some experience and some playing time. So I feel pretty good about that.
So the league is consistent with our reputation. Looking, obviously, more than just A&M football. Looking at the league as a whole,
I
obviously, it
can't,
has.
sorry, you're breaking out.
That's
Sorry.
on me. No, I mean, with the SEC, you've got your tier ones, right? Texas, Georgia, Bama. I mean, you're looking at the SEC as a whole. Do how is just if you had to kind of give an overview of how the league looks this year, do you see tier one running away with it, or do you see tier two, those types of teams being as an equal threat?
Uh, I think it's any man's game this year. I don't see, I don't know. I think it's going to be like week 3 or 4, a couple weeks to really figure out who's. I mean, you could sit there and go down the list and say Georgia, yeah, it could be Georgia. Alabama, yeah, it could be Alabama.
Hmm.
Texas could be them. Arch Manning's good. What is he going to do this year?
Right.
I mean, then you could even argue LSU. I mean, they've got a returning quarterback that's got experience and can throw the ball. They're well coached football team. I honestly, South Carolina, they're a good, well coached football team. So
Yep.
it's I think it's anybody's ball game. I really do. I don't. Ohio State, I know they're not in the SEC, but they're a well coached football team. Won it last
Hmm.
year. They're coming in hot. They're confident. They're ready to defend their title. So,
Yes, they are.
I don't know. I think that then you make an argument for Clemson. I mean, they've got a bunch of returners coming back. Their
Hmm.
quarterback's actually a Westlake kid.
Yep.
So, there's just so many. There's so many, especially with the transfer portal. It's hard to. I feel like it's hard to consistently build roster after roster after roster. You got to do it year in, year out. And so it just kind of makes more of a speculation guessing game, as far as who's going to be real and who's not, just because there's so many uncertainties. But I
Yes.
don't know who's your favorite this year. Who do you think wins it all, Avery?
The whole thing or just our
I want the
conference?
the whole thing. I mean, who's the best team in the country?
I think, oh, it's tough because I think there are a lot of teams that are favored. Like you just named a couple. I think Penn State, I think, is almost.
It's a
I don't want
great.
to compare. I don't want to compare them to us, but I think we've kind of seen James Franklin and Jimbo Fisher be compared, and like James Franklin can't win the big one, so they're kind of in the same situation where they've got to prove themselves. I
Yeah,
think he's kind of in a do or die. Like if it's either this year or I don't think it happens for them at all. So
yeah,
that's I don't want to say he's on the hot seat because I mean they finished in the college football semi, so
yeah.
that would be an interesting position. But I like Penn State a lot. I think just given the context of what their program, where they're at, I like Drew Aller as a quarterback. I think they kind of filled their wide receiver room, which was a big struggle for them last year. That's what I'll go with for now. I have three
I
days
like it. I
to
think that's a good
change my
pick.
opinion. But I, again, I don't know anything. Who knows? Maybe it's someone that's not even in the top 10. Someone we're not even talking about. It's anyone's game. I do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I mean, both the teams you named are playing SEC teams to start the year: Clemson, LSU, Ohio State, Texas. So I mean, you're going to see a
Those are
lot about.
two those are two incredibly great football games, and I
Mhm.
cannot wait to watch them. Um, well, do you think Ohio State or Texas is gonna win?
Oh, you don't. You know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say it.
Yeah. Ohio State. We all know they're gonna win.
We all know it's the shoe. Julian Sayin, Ryan Day. There's no way they go in there and win that game. There's no way.
Oh,
I don't see it.
you don't think Ohio State's gonna win?
No, Ohio State will win. I don't. Arch Manning on the road.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
trust Steve Sarkisian. No, I'm full. I'm bought into the Buckeyes. They've got
Yeah.
this one. I'm not worried about it.
All right. I like it.
That's where I am with that one.
I
But
like it.
I think you had 4 years at A&M, which I think, especially in today's day and age, it's very rare to spend all 4 years in college and at the same college. Obviously, we talked about the Bama game, which is a big one. I know you had a game-winning touchdown against Ole Miss. That was our first SEC away game. There's a lot of moments I'm sure you can point to. Is there one or two that stick out to you? Maybe ones that people don't typically talk about?
Um, no, I mean it's pretty rare, that I get to tell people I was undefeated against Nick Saban. So I mean
Yeah.
that's definitely up there at number one on my list. But man, there were so many magical moments that last year. Obviously, that Ole Miss game was really special. I had a terrible game, and I had a fumble and a drop pass, and it was it was just one of those nights. And Johnny, I just remember Johnny came over and grabbed me by the face mask, and I'll just put it kindly, said, "Hey, we need you in this game," and I'll never forget that. And went out that next drive, and he threw a dime over my left shoulder, to win the game. And so,
Mhm.
I mean, that was a cool moment. I'll never forget Mike Evans mossing that guy in that game. I think it was
Mhm.
like third and 30, and
Yep.
Mike just came out down the sideline and just made an incredible catch. One of a thousand. I mean, the guy is just he's the goat, and so fun playing with him. But there was just so many good guys on that roster, and I mean, there's another moment, was sophomore year was pretty special. I think we were Big 12 champions. That was really cool. I think we
Mm-hmm.
tied with Oklahoma and Nebraska that year, but we ended up beating Nebraska that year.
Oh my goodness, he disappeared. Let's get him back in there. Boom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Where did you lose me at?
You were talking about being champions in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and
Yes.
Nebraska.
Yeah. Nebraska, not yeah, we won 93. It wasn't really an offensive game, but obviously the wrecking crew showed up and had some incredible stops, and
Mm-hmm.
never heard Kyle Field as loud as it was.
Yep.
Beating Oklahoma that year on Kyle Field was extra special. So I mean, there's so many moments, but I mean, what I miss the most is just being with the guys and those friendships, and that it's a brotherhood that that can never be broken. And so I miss those guys and hanging out with them. Just the camaraderie, the locker room.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, there's I think Alabama obviously is number one on that list.
Oh, I mean, I think anyone that watched football at any point in time has seen that game. It's obviously a big one, very hard to top.
Yeah,
But I mean, 4 years at A&M is very special, so I'm sure there's a lot to look back on.
there
And
is.
honestly, I'm wondering how big, how big is football in your household? Like, are your kids really bought in? Is this like they're
Oh
totally
yeah.
trying to be like dad?
We just started flag football, little flag football league.
Oh,
We
there
had
we
our
go.
first just had our first practice Tuesday night, and the twins, they're turning 5 next month, and then my 3-year-old, he turns 4 in December. He's playing,
Okay.
so I just went ahead. He's playing up with them, and
Why not?
so they all 3 of them are on the same team, and so yeah, it's like herding cats out there, but it's fun. They're having a good time. They burn off a bunch of energy and sleep good that night. So we're having fun with it, and really all sports. I just want them to be active, and they're swinging baseball bats, which is good. Swinging a bunch of golf clubs.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I need to get them over to see your dad. Get some luck. I need to go see your dad too. I need some golf lessons. Go see Chad, but no, we're having a blast, and I think that it's so important nowadays. Kids, I think parents are so high on just sticking to one sport, but I think it's incredibly important to let these kids experience as many sports as possible and try to do everything, that way they're, having fun and, running track, playing basketball, playing football, doing it all. And ultimately, the most important thing is just learning how to compete, learning how to lose, learning from
Mhm.
those experiences that just teach you life lessons. So we're taking it one day at a time. We're having a lot of fun, lots of broken windows, lots of bruises,
Oh, yep.
all that good stuff. But yeah, they're blessings, and we're just so grateful to have them. And I look forward to obviously we're brainwashing them a little bit. They're drinking the maroon Kool-Aid, but
Oh, that's the only way to
you
do it.
got to. But yeah, we've certainly been very blessed.
How much do they know about Annam? Do they know names? Do they know what are they just
No,
bought in? They're just bought in.
not yet, not yet. They really they love the Aggie War hymn, and they love the song "Power" is one of their favorite songs. They like to put on their Aggie uniforms and run out of the back, out of the backyard door, and they kind of insinuate that they're on Kyle Field and take in the moment. So that they love doing stuff like that, which honestly I did too as a kid.
Oh
That was
yeah.
me, and so that's what it's all about.
Yeah, maybe we do see the name Swope on the back of the jersey.
Maybe so. Maybe one day.
Or 15 and however many it may be.
Maybe so. Maybe so. That'd be really cool, but we'll see.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of time between then and
There's
now.
a lot
So
of time. So,
no, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. We'll wrap up here. I've got this is my first before game one. I'm going to start doing a shining star of the week. We haven't played yet, obviously. So my shining star of the week is going to Jade Walker, who just made the 53-man roster for the Bears.
all
So
day
shout out to
Walker.
Jade, all day Walker.
Hey, that guy is a talent. He's incredible player. I've enjoyed watching him over the years, and Yeah, he's gonna be he's a special player. I like his physicality. I love his end zone dance too. It's pretty.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen anything pretty unique. I've never seen anything
No,
like it.
I
I don't know
won't
how
be
he does it.
attempting to learn it. I'll leave it to him.
Yeah.
That's totally out of my comfort zone. But I think to end the segment, we always do what I call the fire pit. So these are your hot takes. So it has to be one hot take that's A&M related and one hot take that is college football related. So if you've got one, you can come out swinging. If not, I can give you mine if you want to.
Yeah, let's hear yours. I don't have any.
Okay. A&M related. I think we talked about depth pieces. I think Marco Jones is a contender for the Sean Alexander Award, best freshman. Obviously, there are a lot of notable names people are talking about. I think because he's not a starter, the people aren't talking about him. I
Yeah.
could easily see him earning a starting spot and being a national name come November, December.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like it. I guess my hot take is it's gonna be based on this first game, but I think Marcel Reed, I think he has a big game. I think he'll probably throw 3 or 4 touchdowns and probably want run for one. And so
That would be beautiful.
I'm hoping that he can you know, light it up and have fun out there. So I think I expect him to come out and find his groove and confidence, and he's got some weapons downfield, and I think he'll have a big game on Saturday.
I think everyone's hoping the same thing, obviously, but I don't foresee there being a sophomore slump. I trust Elko, I trust Klein, and we saw way too many flashes of him being a great quarterback for me to think that that's not going to continue.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope it happens.
Now, with college football as a whole, I am notably anti LSU, so my hot take involves LSU, but I think Clemson beats LSU by double digits on
Oh,
Saturday.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's bold
I
because
yeah, I I'm not
but
biased at all.
LSU is a really well coached football or Clemson's a really well coached football team, and I think that their defense last year they were second or third defense in the country, and they've got all their offense returning. So
Mhm.
experience is hard to beat.
It is. LSU's bringing in a lot of different pieces from the portal. They
I know.
are running their program very differently because why am I blanking on his name? Dabo Sweeney is
Yeah, well,
very traditional in the sense that the portal is
he's
not there.
I know he's a great football coach. I've got
So I'm all in on the Clemson
I
Tigers,
like
not the
that
LSU
take.
Tigers.
I like that take.
So maybe part of that is just hope
Yeah.
because I foresee Brian Kelly is on the hot seat, I would say.
Oh, 100%.
So
He's gotta have a good year. So, yeah.
I am hoping that we can put the dagger in his tenure when we go to Death Valley as well.
I hope you're right. I hope it happens. I would love to see that. I really would. I think I think we're fully capable of doing it too. So I think we've got to obviously take care of UTSA this weekend, but if we just get grooving and get going, I think we can win these big football games. I think we are, Coach Elko's I've got full trust in what he's doing. So I can't wait to see it.
I'm bought in. I'm bought into Elko. I'm bought into this football team. That I mean, you can only say so much. We got 3 more days, then we can let them do the talking for us.
Let's
That
do
about
it.
wraps it up, though. Thank you so much. I mean, I know you're not huge on social media. What are you up to now? Is there anywhere people can find you?
No, I'm not. I don't even know my Twitter name or my yeah. I don't know it, but it's you can probably search my name. But yeah, I it's not real exciting. It's a bunch of just photos of my boys fishing and hunting and just family stuff,
Always wholesome.
which is really which is a lot of fun. So we have a good time. So but thanks so much, Avery, for having me. I really appreciate it, and
Yeah, thank you for coming
that
on. Thank you for taking the time.
that was fun. So but yeah, Giga Maggies, appreciate it.
Giga Mamas, thank you. We will see you guys next week.